316 Automotive. Hello again. Today we are working on a Volvo C30 and I'm going to show it to you right now. There we go. I've already got one side jacked up and that's all we need. What's happening is there's vibration on acceleration and it's coming right out of here, and I'll show you in just a little bit why I think that, and then we'll go from there. But I'm just giving you the background. Everybody's going, where's that Saab you've been working on? Well, the Saab is out there. This became more important for a variety of reasons. The Saab is a long-term project. This is a quick turn for my son's car, so we're getting him fixed up. So just hang around and I'll be back with more. Okay, I took the wheel off and there it is over there, and I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna show you. Get my light. Look at that Triad joint there. There's the outer CV joint right there. That's in good shape. The inner CV joint, or the Triad joint, as you can see, look at that thing, completely torn away. I can look in there. You probably can't see what I'm seeing, but you can feel in there the nastiness, the grit, the dirt that's been gotten in there. Of course, it's a secondhand car. You got to expect that kind of thing. And so we've been experiencing, there's another view of it right there. There's the big bearing for it out back there. We're going to take that out too. And you can see, well, you can't see, you got to feel. I'm going to get under here. And I'm going to shake this thing. A lot of movement. You can feel a shaking in here, so the grit has been in there doing its work and grinding away at that Triad joint for quite a while. And now every time you accelerate this car, you can feel a vibration all through the acceleration. When you let off the gas, vibration goes away, and that's every time you accelerate. And so I checked the other side, the Triad and the CV. The boots are good, the joints are tight. This is the only one that's loose. So can you hear that? Okay, so that's nice and loud. This baby is coming out, and it's got about 63,000 miles on it, and unfortunately that's what happens. Now I've got the new axle here. You can only buy it in one piece. So here it is right there. That's the transmission end. This is the hub end. There's the Triad, there's the CV. It's all good. This is from AutoZone. It's their Duralast Gold series, and I hope it's good. And it came from Memphis, and as you can see right there, that VO 8064-17597, that's a Subtrack part number, and so Subtrack Automotive made this for AutoZone. Oh well, somebody's got to make it. So, and I've checked the Triad. It's nice and tight, and of course the CV wasn't the problem on the old one. So we're going to install this, and we're going to take shots as we go and explain things, and hopefully we'll get rid of that vibration. So do this, the magic cameras, there we go. So wow, hopefully we're going to get rid of stuff here, vibration, bad things, and we will let you know how it goes. I better get on with it. Bye. Okay, we've got the big center bolt out. As you can see, came right out of there, and that came out without too much trouble right out of the hub. Then, second step, you come back, we remove this tie rod end from the end of the steering rack. Funny thing about this one, I was anticipating having to use a puller on this thing, but all I did was, the nut was up here, and I just backed the nut off. The nut sits right on top of there, and let's just do that. And I just backed the nut off, and I was able to see inside there, so I sprayed some lube in there, let it set up just a minute or so, then took a trusty old hammer, and with the nut backed off like I don't know, 3 or 4 turns, so that the nut is just proud of this surface of the tie rod end. I just started whacking it with my grandpa's ball peen hammer, and that was probably 5-6 whacks, half a dozen whacks, and it just popped right off. That is the first time that I've had a taper joint ever just pop right off. Unbelievable. Which is a good thing. Usually you have to fight them. Now the next thing we're going to have to do, you see that lower ball joint there? Got to get that off. That's going to be a booger. So I'll keep working on that, and I will get right back to you. Okay, with the ball joint, lower ball joint right there, I unscrewed the nut and I tap with the hammer. Still wasn't coming out, so I got my trusty wood wedge here. And I jammed it in between there and the CV joint, gave it a couple whacks with the sledge, and that thing came right out of there. So now it's loose, and now we can get this thing going. We're going to turn this strut, we're going to turn it all the way around so we can get access in there. We're going to undo this stabilizer bar. Here's the anti-sway bar, so it's part of that system, and then we'll just move this whole strut right out of the way. Okay, there's the outboard axle, CV joint inside of the Triad. See how it's got three bearings on it? That's why it's called a Triad. And there's a Triad cup inside of here that the Triad cup boot is covering over. The most difficult thing I've had to do so far is take out this anti-sway bar that went from the lower sway bar up to here on the strut. That was a bear. Other than that, everything's been coming out. Let me get the light here. Everything's been coming out pretty good. Now you see those couple of bolts in there. I can't really have the light and shine at the same time, point, but there's a couple of bolts that are the bearing caps for the support bearing on the inboard shaft, axle shaft. I need to get those, and then the axle should come right out. So I'll do that, and then I'll show you. All right, stand by. Okay, I got the axle out. This is the old one. You can see the CV right there, full of balls and races, and then here's the Triad right here. 1, 2, 3 bearings, and the Triad cup. And that was all loose. And the new one, just for comparison, right next to it. The Volvo one is a little bit bigger in diameter in the shaft, and this is a solid shaft here, but the ends look to be good, and everything looks to fit. So you're going to find that in aftermarket parts there's some subtle differences that aren't going to make a difference, such as in this case. And so then we go back around over here, we can see, wow, can see all the way in there. You see where the, right in the center there is where the axle goes. So we're going to do that again with the new axle, and then here's the cup right here for the Triad bearing cup. Got a new bearing on it, and so there's the half the cup. The other half is right there, and we're going to put it all back together, and we'll get you some more shots of that. Okay, back again. Let me get down here. You can see the new axle is in now. I've got it, the bearing cap is in, as you can see, and if you go under here, let me get down here. You can see where we're in the transmission too, right back there. Luckily the seals weren't leaking, they were pretty good, so no problems there. Hard to get a shot of the bearing cap. Okay, better over here. And Triad and the CV. So I got the ball joint in, as you can see right there, and I'm working on assembling the rest of it, and then we'll go for a test drive. Oh, by the way, the lower A-arm here, the forward pivot bolt, I had to loosen that up in order to get this A-arm to swing down, and then when we're gonna put it back on its wheels, when the vehicle weight is resting on its wheels, I'm going to tighten this up again to full torque. You don't want to do it while it's while the suspension is extended. You want to do it while the suspension is compressed, like on that side. Haven't messed with that one because that's all good. And obviously the belly pan, I removed that to get into here. I'll put the belly pan back. So just remember that if you're doing this and you need to undo the lower A-arm bolt and loosen it up to make some movement possible, don't forget to retorque it with the weight on the wheels. That'd be bad if you forgot it. Okay, back with more in a bit. Okay, I've got the wheel back on. I've got everything tightened up, except for, remember we talked about this earlier? This bolt right here in the lower A-arm. Everything else has been torqued. The bolt in the ball joint, and the tie rod ends, of course, and the anti-sway bar, and everything else. So there's the belly pan. I'm gonna, unfortunately, you put the belly pan on, you don't have access to this bolt. So I've got to leave that off. I'm going to lower the car to the ground. Then I'm going to torque this bolt, and then lift the car back up in the air like you see it. And then we're going to put the belly pan on and go for a spin. See how well the axle works. Wish me luck. Okay, the belly pan's on. The bolts have been torqued down, even that one in there on the lower A-arm. Got that torqued down. As you can see, the belly pan's on. And got the wheels torqued down. This wheel, one wheel. We're going to take it for a test drive. Okay, here we go. Okay guys, the test drive on the Volvo C30 went very, very well. The vibration on acceleration is gone. And so my son Reese was so happy that he went and took the car to work. And as you can see, the Saab is back in the garage. So good success on that one. And I kind of had an idea that it was that axle because of the shaking. And so good result. Talk to you later. Bye.